Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Good morning. I am Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP. On this Friday, October 18th of 2024, we can expect sunny skies today with a high near 67 degrees. We will have a complete Beaver County Radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. The Boys and Girls Club of Western Pennsylvania are hosting their 50th anniversary concert. Beaver County Radio news correspondent Sandy Giordano reports that according to a news release from David Tobizik, the Vice President of Advancement for the Boys and Girls Club of Western Pennsylvania, on November 16th, the club will host a concert in honor of the classic hit, Could It Be I'm Fallin' in Love, written by Pittsburgh area natives Mervyn and Melvin Steels. The concert will be staged at the Moon Area High School Auditorium in Moon Township at 7 p.m. and will also feature performances from the Tramps featuring Earl Young, the Bill Henry Band, with headliner Russell Tompkins Jr., who is the Stylistics' lead singer. emceeing the concert is three-time Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers, J.T. Thomas. Tobizik also confirms that all proceeds will support the mission of the Boys and Girls Club of Western Pennsylvania to advance the potential of greater Aliquippa local youth, and these proceeds will also benefit BGCWPA's Aliquippa Clubhouse. Tickets for the concert are available now, and the link can be found on our website at beavercountyradio.com. The Whippeal Boys Soccer Playoffs begin on Saturday. The Whippeal Boys Soccer Championship game will take place at Highmark Stadium. You can also find more information about the matchups for 3A, 2A, and Single A on our website at beavercountyradio.com. A man was convicted by a Beaver County jury for killing a transgender woman in her Aliquippa apartment in 2021. On Wednesday, Doris Raines was found guilty of murdering Brandon Murray, known as B, inside a Linmar Terrace apartment. According to police, Murray identified as a woman. Beaver County District Attorney Nate Bible claimed that there was not a clear motive that was proven. According to Pennsylvania State Police, video evidence was found outside Murray's apartment, and the sentencing date for Raines has not yet been determined. With less than 3 weeks away from Election Day, the focus for most people is on casting their ballot, and Pennsylvania also needs a lot more poll workers for the voting process to go smoothly. Here's Danielle Smith with more.
Many of the 8.7 million registered voters in the state would be eligible to work at the polls for the November 5th presidential election. Susan Gobreski with the League of Women Voters of Pennsylvania says prospective poll workers need to be registered to vote in the county where they want to work and would need to be available for the entire day.
There are over 9,000 precincts or divisions in Pennsylvania, and there are about 5 poll workers per precinct or division, plus translators in some places. So it's over 45,000 people who are needed.
She adds poll workers are appointed by the community, are elected every 4 years, and are essential for ensuring the transparency and fairness of elections. Gobreski says they come from diverse backgrounds and are responsible for administering the voting process and filling in when any vacancies arise.
Former President Donald Trump will be having a rally at Arnold Palmer Regional Airport in Latrobe on Saturday. The doors will open at 2 p.m. and the Republican presidential nominee will speak starting at 6 p.m. This is the first rally for former President Trump since he returned to Butler on October 5th, the same location where an assassination attempt on the presidential candidate was attempted.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
A chilly start to the morning with some areas of patchy fog and frost expected through mid-morning. It's going to be sunny with quite the warm-up with highs reaching 68. Clear tonight will drop down to a low around 37. We could see some patchy frost to start the day tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll see lots of sunshine. Look for a high near 71 and an overnight low around 40. And more sunshine in the forecast for Sunday. We'll reach a high near 72 and a low in the mid-40s. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
That's a look at the news for now. I am Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Teleforum is on the air on Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP. The show is presented by East Rochester and Tusca Shop and Saves. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddie Crow.
It is Teleforum. It is almost done. And I told you at the beginning, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I said, first 2 hours, I'm going to do all I can. Third hour, DJ Frye and Bus Talk happens, and I am just going to dump it right over into him. I am going to do the best I can for 2 hours. No pressure. DJ Frye is here. Dr. Robert POSTUPAC is here. It's Bus Talk. This is live on our Facebook page. How you doing?
Doing well, Eddie. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. I so look forward, and this isn't, oh, I love you. I so look forward to the days you come in here because it's a positive experience at the end of, quite often with the news, it can be a negative week. And you come in here all bubbly and effervescent, and I sit and I go, yeah, all right, you do it now. Well, it's like the part-timer showing up early for the shift, and the full-timer says, hey, man, you're already here. Put your gloves on.
Absolutely. Well, just to share with you, I certainly look forward to it as well. But out of you and I think the group that enjoys it the most is probably my staff back in the office. Because it gets me out of the
you keep trying to say you guys are going to be on the air with him, and they keep texting you going, oh, hell no.
No, I think the moment I step out, they have this on their calendar. They know when I'm coming on the radio. So that whole hour back at the office, it's probably the best hour they have all month. So
a little longer lunch on days you're here? Is that what they're saying?
Maybe.
Hey,
you know
good,
what?
Good.
It's the best staff in the county, though, so I really can't say too much bad about that. I'll tell you that.
Can I ask you one question?
Absolutely.
And then I know, Dr. POSTUPAC, you guys have several things to talk about. I was talking about moonlighting, having a side gig. How many people drive a bus that it is a side gig versus how many people drive a bus that maybe they're retired?
Oh, that's a great question, Eddie. I would say the latter part is probably more dominant. So a lot of retirees, right? But we often talk about it being a profession that, one, is the greatest semi-retirement gig. But more importantly, it allows you to be diversified with other things. A lot of farmers, photographers, DJs, real estate agents. Actually, we've had quite a wonderful run on hiring and staffing wonderful local real estate agents here just in the past, last 2 school years. And they're seeing value in that. They're out in the area public. They're mingling and networking the whole 9 yards. But more importantly, they're protecting the safety of the students in the school buses. So
you're helping the community grow intellectually.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we're a community-based company, no doubt about it, and that will always be on the forefront of our vision and what we stand for. And since you kind of brought that up a little bit, I want to thank WBVP and St. Barnabas for all their support. As you know, you guys helped us with the donation collection for those impacted.
Our lobby was full of stuff that it's like, wow, those are nice flashlights.
Absolutely.
It moved my heart that the community was that instantly open.
Absolutely. And again, we wouldn't have been able to do that without the 100 of volunteers that helped us over the last 2 weeks, the thousands who came out and donated supplies, the 3 districts. And again, we weren't really trying to rope too many people in there, but the districts allowed us to host the Stuff a Bus 2 Sundays ago. But again, thank you again to Beaver County Radio, St. Barnabas for always being partners there when we need something. And again, this was my daughter's favorite stop, both of them. Last Saturday, we pulled up here to stuff the bus, and they were dying and itching to come see this studio, and they even got some airtime. So we went home later that evening, and they said, Dad, let's make a fake studio down in the basement so we can practice next time we get on the radio. So
No, make them a real studio. All right. See, the doctor in the house is agreeing with me.
Absolutely, DJ. You know what? Don't make a fake studio.
No.
Let those children explore the real reality of podcasting. Set them up.
See, it doesn't matter if Eddie, you, and every time I bring a guest on here, you both just end up throwing me under the bus. So it's always costing me something.
Speak.
DJ, I heard a few things in that comment you made to Mr. Crow. you said one of the side gigs for DJs could be driving a bus. Can we expect to see Eddie Crow driving a Western Beaver bus to a football game that he's going to announce on Friday night?
I don't know if we can get that board approved.
You know what? I think that would really be good.
We often asked him to do a celebrity parallel park competition with him and Mr. Sparks, but we have yet to rope that in and allow that to happen. But it's in the works. It's in the talks for sure.
There are so many certifications that I would not qualify for that are needed. So many tests. Is there a psychological test?
No, you're good. You're good. You're
really?
Lucky. You're lucky in that case there. But that's called the interview process.
Is that what it is?
That's the interview.
You remember Chris Farley in Billy Madison as the bus driver?
Absolutely.
Within 2 days, DJ. Sit down and shut up.
Nothing. Remember, Eddie, nothing. And you've often talked about this on this show. You sat in the back of the bus. And what do we say? Nothing good happens in the back of the bus.
Yeah, you learn about life a lot quicker. Those kids that sit up front are the ones that turn their homework in on time.
And so before I get into introducing our guest, who many throughout the county knows, and I will tell you, I'm going to label him as one of the best when it comes to knowing numbers, when it comes to the education. I do just want to check in. How's the cats? Everybody at home doing well?
You asked me that off air, and I told you, and you know what the answer is, and you brought it up on air to make me say the answer again. The cats are jackasses because I made the mistake. I'm sorry, jagoffs. I made the mistake of turning on my fireplace a few days ago.
Uh-oh.
They expect it to be on every day now.
Wow.
They stand, look at me, look at the fireplace, and meow, and then go in their litter box, I'm sure as a gesture. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Well, here's the reason I brought it up. So we talked about that collection we did 2 Sundays ago. There were quite a few at all 3 locations who dropped goods off and said, hey, love the show with you and Eddie. Love the cat talk. So we want to keep the cats popular and always check in with them once a month. If you don't mind.
They're jagoffs. It's 2 cats. They're sisters. One of them is a you-know-what. The other one is brain damage. Between the 2 of them, they weigh less than 10 pounds. I'm at about $1.89. They run the joint. They know they run the joint. Now they're demanding higher fuel costs because they want the fireplace.
Doc, you have any cats?
No, we don't have any pets. I have a couple grand dogs, and I walk one of them pretty regularly, and we have a good time with that. But I get to take him back home at the end of the day. But,
it's like an uncle babysitting
exactly,
kids. Yeah.
Exactly. But I want to thank DJ and BVP and St. Barnabas as well, not only for inviting me, but for the stuff of bus. I happen to be at the Central Valley game. We have a granddaughter who's a cheerleader there, and she has a boyfriend who plays on the team, and certainly we wish the teams and the bands and cheerleaders, good luck tonight in all the games, but they were announcing multiple times during the Central Valley game about the stuff of bus, and it was a very successful program, a very worthwhile cause, and I really appreciate the effort and that goes forth. Frye Transportation does a great job with community. There'll be a stuff of bus coming up for the holiday seasons again. So please get out there and participate. And the communities are always so generous here. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
I know, I appreciate it. Actually, just to give a quick shout out to Western Beaver, the teachers and administration. There was quite a few teachers who showed up at that bus garage location and dropping goods off. So kudos again to all of Beaver County with all the effort. It can't fail not to mention the greatest partner there is in Beaver County, and it's the Latham team. Lisa and Tank are just the salt of the earth, and really this started from their idea, and it was a wonderful thing. And anytime we need to step in and help, we certainly will be there. So again, thank you, Beaver County, and for our listeners, joining us as promised. I made this promise a couple months ago that when the time comes, I'm going to have who I personally think is the best when it comes to school financing, school funding, knowing the numbers inside and out because of the multiple hats that he has had to wear over many, many years. So without that being said, I'm going to welcome Dr. POSTUPAC here to our studio. And again, this is a gentleman who I owe a lot of credit to. Way back in 2012, he basically asked me, are you ready to branch off of your parents' business? Because there's an opportunity, and hit the ground running. And then, Eddie, we talk about how Nan and Pap owned the bus company and how it transitioned into my mom and dad's. And you often ask me how I really got out on my own, and I will be honest with you, I owe this man right here a ton of credit when it comes to that. So I'm pleased, and I'm finally we got you in the studio here.
Well, thanks, DJ. No, I appreciate that, but I don't think I deserve much credit. DJ's family, when I came to Beaver County as an administrator, have been running the van services throughout the county and for the IU. And DJ naturally, as he went through school and got out and got married and became a family man, he branched into owning a bus company. And I think a lot of people have these ideas that if you have a bus, you can just go be a bus company. There is a whole lot to it. And we have very few bus companies now in Beaver County, and they service a lot of districts and kids. And there is no good formula for bus transportation, and there's no good solution for the cost of that. I'm fortunate that I've been able to negotiate with DJ very good contracts that he comes back to me regularly and tells me that I kind of took advantage of him sometimes.
Eddie, I was going to say, I'm glad he said that he's enjoyed that product, because I've lost every negotiation with this man when it comes to the contracts.
I do have what I would say, compared to other schools, a pretty good number for the bus contract and the daily runs. But I will say that getting kids to and from school safely, DJ is the best.
Thank you.
And we love the drivers we get are community members for the most part. They're vested in the community. They transport their own children with them on the bus a lot of times, and they're very reliable. And then if you can imagine trying to get your kids home in the afternoon, but then you have multiple sporting activities that you have to get your teams and your other bands and your clubs to, DJ is always there for us. Even when you take field trips, well, you got to bring everybody to school, and then the trip has to leave to get to Pittsburgh. Well, if you leave at 9 o'clock, you're not going to be able to have the whole experience. And DJ is always able to provide those buses outside of what the normal transportation would be. And he does that not only for our school district, but all the ones he serves, and even ones he doesn't serve. The transportation companies in the county work together: ABC, McCarter's, DJ, Southside Bus, First Student. They work together, and they make sure that they get these kids safely where they need to be, and they make sure that we have transportation. So I appreciate everything they do.
Well, I appreciate that. And he talked on what the special sauce of the success is, and really it's the relationships you have with your communities. It starts at the school board level with the superintendents, all the administrators, down through the foundational elements of the community, which is our families and our students. And it's a group effort. We're all on the same page, all working together to make sure that the number one most important element is always intact, and that's the safety of our students. So, with that being said, since we talked about negotiations and things of that nature, I want to get into, because this is a really important topic when it comes to the taxpayers in Beaver County. How difficult is it nowadays to run a school district with the different arms and funding
Absolutely.
From the state and federal level? If you can go into a little bit of that.
Sure. School district funding is very dynamic. Every school district has the same, math problem to deal with. You have multiple funding sources. You have a state basic ed funding source, and then from there you have a special education funding source from the state. And that has not gone up substantially in over 2 decades. Then you have a federal funding source, which basically covers Title I type of reading, special programs. That's limited to who's eligible, so that's not a huge amount of dollars when you spread it over, the county.
Sure.
And then you have your local taxing. And if you go and ask your school district or break it down, the budget is sometimes, for example, Western Beaver is roughly 30% local taxes. So that means 70% are coming from other revenue sources. And if you want to raise your taxes, there are limits on that.
Sure.
And for example, when you start talking transportation cost, there is a cost of doing business does require an increase. A bus nowadays, DJ, what's a new bus cost for you to put our kids safely on the road?
So we just ordered quite a few for a couple of the other districts, and they were $151,000.
So $151,000, and then you're talking about the fuel cost and those types of things. Well, when you start doing that, there is an increase each year, and it's not a large increase, but there is a nominal increase. Of course, you have contracts with your staff, So you have increases there, and then you have your cost for, just like a homeowner would, for all their utilities. So when you start doing those fixed increases, you're looking at how much money can I gain and cover those costs. So you'll notice that Beaver County taxes, they go up incrementally pretty much every year. No one's trying to out-tax them. What they're trying to do is, I have to cover that 2-3% cost of living increase in the contract. I have to cover the increase in the utilities. And yeah, some people say, well, in my own home, I have to make cuts. We also make cuts. But when you're doing infrastructure and you're doing school safety, and you have to have SROs in every district now.
Sure.
So you have to have at least one armed security person in every district. That's now a requirement. The state did not fund that. They allow you to use one funding source of up to $50,000. That doesn't pay for a policeman, though. And some schools, because of their layout, may have 2 or 3.
Sure.
So, when you're talking about the safety of students, the safety of their transportation, the curriculum, and keeping the buildings up and running, there's cost to that. Sure. So incremental increases are going to be necessary. It's how do you do that without, being disadvantaging the taxpayer.
Sure. If you're just joining us, this is DJ Frye with this month's Beaver County School Bus Talk, and our guest today in the studio is Dr. Robert POSTUPAC, the Superintendent of Western Beaver Schools. On the other side of this break here, we're going to jump back into some of those arms of state and federal funding when it comes to running a school district nowadays. Stay with us, please.
Hi, I'm Roman Kozak, and I'm the grandson of 4 World War II Nazi labor camp survivors. My family is the American dream story, and in the Pennsylvania State House, I want to work to ensure that the American dream is there for our children and grandchildren in our region for generations to come. I will fight to reduce the cost of living and tackle inflation by stopping Harrisburg overspending, harnessing Pennsylvania energy to reduce our utility costs, and pushing for real tax relief, especially for our seniors. I will work to make our communities safer by supporting our law enforcement and making sure they have the resources they need to get tough on crime and illegal immigration. And I will work relentlessly to grow our economy with smart regulatory and tax reform. I'm honored to be endorsed by outgoing State Representative Jim Marshall, the National Rifle Association, our local and state police, and business leaders and labor groups across our community and Commonwealth. It's simple. Reduce the cost of living, safer communities, economic growth. Vote Roman Kozak to be your next state representative. Paid for by Citizens for Kozak.
They're back. New Brighton's annual Halloween parade is back this year by ghoulish demand. Make plans to come enjoy this spooky New Brighton tradition Wednesday, October 23rd, starting at 6:30 p.m. Legend says that this parade full of your favorite ghosts, ghouls, goblins, fire trucks, and bands started back in the 40s. If you would like to dress up in your favorite costume or have a group band or float and want to be in the parade, email nbparade@gmail.com. Beaver County Radio will broadcast the parade on Facebook Live so that family and friends around the world can be a part of this tradition. The parade features local bands and, of course, the best thing about Halloween, candy. Come out and enjoy the New Brighton Halloween Parade, 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, October 23rd, and have a ghoulish good time, if you dare.
If you own a company or a small business, you might have considered advertising on radio. It's smart because radio is still the most far-reaching media outlet today. WBVP and WMBA can get you results. Get more information at beavercountyradio.com.
Happy days are here again at the annual Trunk or Treat Car Cruise this Saturday, October 19, from noon to 3 p.m. at 4301 Dutch Ridge Road, Beaver. Brought to us by presenting sponsor Moon Township Ford, it's the car cruise you've been waiting for all year. So come out and celebrate the fall season. See the classic cars you love, plus a few new ones too. Moon Township Ford will have a special display showcasing some of its newer vehicles. The Trunk or Treat Car Cruise this Saturday, presented by Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
Seen all the construction here in Beaver County? Work on the Frankfurt Bridge, sewage improvements in Hopewell and Beaver, the connection of Darlington residents to the Beaver Falls water system after the Norfolk Southern derailment, and replacement of the Montgomery locks and dam. It's the largest infrastructure project in 50 years, and it's the work of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Donald Trump held press conferences saying he was going to fix our infrastructure, but he failed. Too busy tweeting. Failed to build a wall, didn't get Mexico to pay for it. We lost 3 million jobs and got stuck with the largest deficit ever. It's simple. Should we support the failures of Trump just so he can give himself and his billionaire friends like Elon Musk more money? Or move our part of Pennsylvania forward with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? America's Future Majority Fund paid and is responsible for the content of this advertising. America'sFutureMajority.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Good morning. I am Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP. On this Friday, October 18th of 2024, we can expect sunny skies today with a high near 67 degrees. We will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. The Boys and Girls Club of Western Pennsylvania are hosting their 50th anniversary concert. Beaver County radio news correspondent Sandy Giordano reports that according to a news release from David Tobazik, the Vice President of Advancement for the Boys and Girls Club of Western Pennsylvania, on November 16th, the club will host a concert in honor of the classic hit, Could It Be I'm Fallen in Love, written by Pittsburgh area natives Mervyn and Melvin Steels. The concert will be staged at the Moon Area High School Auditorium in Moon Township at 7 p.m., and will also feature performances from the Tramps featuring Earl Young, the Bill Henry Band, with headliner Russell Tompkins Jr., who is the Stylistics' lead singer. emceeing the concert is three-time Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers, J.T. Thomas. Tobazik also confirms that all proceeds will support the mission of the Boys and Girls Club of Western Pennsylvania to advance the potential of greater Aliquippa local youth, and these proceeds will also benefit BGCWPA's Aliquippa Clubhouse. Tickets for the concert are available now, and the link can be found on our website at beavercountyradio.com. The Whippeal Boys Soccer Playoffs begin on Saturday. The Whippeal Boys Soccer Championship game will take place at Highmark Stadium. You can also find more information about the matchups for 3A, 2A, and Single A on our website at beavercountyradio.com. A man was convicted by a Beaver County jury for killing a transgender woman in her Aliquippa apartment in 2021. On Wednesday, Doris Raines was found guilty of murdering Brandon Murray, known as B, inside a Linmar Terrace apartment. According to police, Murray identified as a woman. Beaver County District Attorney Nate Bible claimed that there was not a clear motive that was proven. According to Pennsylvania State Police, video evidence was found outside Murray's apartment, and the sentencing date for Raines has not yet been determined. With less than 3 weeks away from Election Day, the focus for most people is on casting their ballot, and Pennsylvania also needs a lot more poll workers for the voting process to go smoothly. Here's Danielle Smith with more.
Many of the 8.7 million registered voters in the state would be eligible to work at the polls for the November 5th presidential election. Susan Gobreski with the League of Women Voters of Pennsylvania says prospective poll workers need to be registered to vote in the county where they want to work and would need to be available for the entire day.
There are over 9,000 precincts or divisions in Pennsylvania, and there are about 5 poll workers per precinct or division, plus translators in some places. So it's over 45,000 people who are needed.
She adds poll workers are appointed by the community, are elected every 4 years, and are essential for ensuring the transparency and fairness of elections. Gobreski says they come from diverse backgrounds and are responsible for administering the voting process and filling in when any vacancies arise.
Former President Donald Trump will be having a rally at Arnold Palmer Regional Airport in Latrobe on Saturday. The doors will open at 2 p.m. and the Republican presidential nominee will speak starting at 6 p.m. This is the first rally for former President Trump since he returned to Butler on October 5th, the same location where an assassination attempt on the presidential candidate was attempted.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
A chilly start to the morning with some areas of patchy fog and frost expected through mid-morning. It's going to be sunny with quite the warm-up with highs reaching 68. Clear tonight will drop down to a low around 37. We could see some patchy frost to start the day tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll see lots of sunshine. Look for a high near 71 and an overnight low around 40. And more sunshine in the forecast for Sunday. We'll reach a high near 72 and a low in the mid-40s. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
That's a look at the news for now. I am Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Talk about what's happening in Beaver County or around the world on Teleforum. 724-843-1888. 724-774-1888. It's Teleforum with Eddie Crow.
It is, but on the occasional Friday, as in once a month, it's me, but it's the DJ Frye. I call it the DJ Frye Hour. It's Bus Talk with DJ Frye, and DJ's guest today is Dr. Robert POSTUPAC. When you're going to just give up that bus, school buses, that's a fad. You need to start doing some radio stuff, man.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Eddie. I enjoy this, but, look, right now I just try to follow your lead.
You need to come by one of the days when it's not enjoyable to make sure you get both sides of it.
I don't know if the bus guy is too interesting, though.
It can be about what you want.
Well,
sure.
It's
bus talk, and you're talking about budgets and educating people. It's stuff that everybody is connected to, whether it's your kids or your grandkids. That's all you need. Universality of topic. You've already got that.
Absolutely. Well, that's kind of the bridge of this show, is talking about tax dollars and how they're used and how they're raised and all that. And really, on the first side of our commercial break, Dr. POSTUPAC, our guest here today in the Frye Transportation Studio, he was getting into a little bit of how those arms of funding work and how they're used and really how difficult it has been the last couple years to really, present that budget. And, you have all these hidden costs on the back end. He started to mention a little bit about the special ed, how things can pop up in the middle of nowhere, facilities and those kind of things. So Doc, where you left off before the commercial, you were talking about the percentage of, I think you mentioned 30% was state, or was at the federal arm?
Well, it's different for every school district, obviously. And, you have to look at, how your taxes are collected, what your current millage rate is, and the value of that mill, which is, a lot of people, look at that and think it's intimidating, but it's not. Like, for example, Western Beaver, when we reassessed and we got our value, our old value, the county sends you the value of your school district by tax, and it was like a little over $69 million. Well, when they reassessed it, it became $487 million. So the value of a mill went from $69,000 to $487,000. But of course, you cannot raise taxes to collect that much money. So then you have to just do the math on it. But you become limited in what you can get. And every school is different. It's by the value of the properties, the businesses. So if you live in a community that has a large business community, corporations, their taxing rate would look different than a residential rate. So each school has a different scenario. But when you do the math, Western Beaver collects, a little over $4 million in local taxes. Well, if you have a $15 to $16 million budget, you're collecting 25 to 30% in local taxes. But you can't forget there's earned income tax on top of that $4 million. So Western Beaver may collect a little over $5 million total dollars out of a close to $16 million budget. Wow. Well, when you're at 30%, if you look at another school that maybe their budgets will just use $20 million, but they're collecting 10 in local taxes, well, that would be 50% of their effort then is locally. Well, that's a different math problem because of how the state would fund you. So, the state funding doesn't go up. Some years it's level. One year, back in the 08, 09 and the 11, 12 years, you'll recall when the housing markets crashed, it actually went down. So school districts didn't get funded what they did the year before from the state.
Sure.
And, that becomes difficult to deal with.
So one of the things I think a lot of our listeners aren't aware of, and it's something that you take part in educating me on and the other superintendents, was the PSERS contribution.
Sure.
And how the funding at one point many years ago was kind of on target. Actually, was overfunded, believe it or not, at one point. And then how really that's always one of your largest expenses when it comes to your budget. So that's one thing. But it's hard, and I think it's always unfair on a school level. And again, this is just coming from the bus guy, right? But it's unfair because things increase in cost. You talked about just transportation and how things just grow through the roof. And I live that as far as trying to put an annual budget together as well. When you're buying equipment and, our health care increases, you and I talked about our insurance, Eddie, just on the bus side went up 22%. We had no claims, but it's industry-based. It's industry-based.
So it's just like what we're hearing about car industries.
Absolutely.
In California, it went up 40, 50%. Florida, PA was one of those listed, going to be 20, 25%. So 22%, and you had zero claims.
Absolutely. It's industry-based, and it's over your multiplier of your industry. And then obviously, if there's an accident on a school bus or a school van, that's a multi-million-dollar accident. So in a lot of ways, there's some similarities. So let's say we have a 10-year bus contract, and we lock that rate in year one on what that year one operational cost is. Well, you want a long-term contract so you can go out and get your funding and your financing, and then you can kind of stretch those rates out to make your daily rate as low as possible for the district and the community, right? But in the middle of that contract, you get a spike of 22% just on the insurance line item, and that really outran what your CPI annual increase might be. That's a lot of, I think, what Dr. POSTUPAC is talking about when it comes to running a school district. There's so many things that you can't forecast out in front of you from one year to the other. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. And, if anybody, our listeners out there today or those online think that DJ's not an experienced expert negotiator, you're watching him do that right in front of you me today. Yeah. And when we leave here, he's going to remind me that, that bus contract, there are opportunities in that bus contract on pretty much a 3 or 4 year window to look at those rates. And he will bring this back to me and remind me of these 22% increases. But I'm going to remind him of he mentioned PSERS, that's the state retirement system for school employees. At one point, it was zero. So what happened was, as an employee, you have to put anywhere from 7.25% to 10+% of your wages into the retirement system. And then that grows over your life. And there's a number of different retirement models as people, go through the years and they change it. So different employees at different rates of hire, different years, they come in that way. But at the end of the day, the individual contributes. And then the school district was to contribute and the state was to contribute. Well, it was so overfunded that they decided to give the school districts kind of breaks and vacations. We're not going to give you more state funding, but we'll just take your PSERS rate and not charge you. Currently, it's at over 34%. So for every dollar you earn, the district has to pay the state 34 cents on that dollar into the retirement system.
Sure. So let me just make sure for our listeners, and if you're just tuning in, this is DJ Frye for the monthly Beaver County School Bus Talk, and our guest today in studio is Dr. Rob POSTUPAC, Superintendent of Western Beaver. And what I think you said, if I'm a teacher or if I'm an employee of a school district, every dollar that I make, you have to put 37 cents towards that dollar?
About 34.
34 cents? Okay.
And I want to be clear that, there is, at the back end of that, years later, the state has part of the PSERS contribution back to the school, but that's not that. You have to budget at 34%. So what does an employee cost for a school district? Well, if you take a teacher that walks in at $50,000, that's $17,000 for retirement. And if they're going to get health care, I'm also on the health care consortium. Health care is health care. The cost of health care is going to go up and the cost of medication will continue, just like everybody else's business. If you work in the business world, you may be paying for that. Well, in our contracts, it has been developed. Health care has gone up anywhere from 8 to 12% for the school districts. A family plan. So if you have a family, a husband, wife, child, things like that, you are talking a $20,000 plan. Mm-hmm. So the district has to pay $20,000 for that plan. Now, yeah, the employee would have some co-pays, they would have some deductibles, but the district has to buy the plan, and then there may be small reimbursements back. So if I'm an employee and I make $50,000 and I get full family, $20,000 for the family health care, that's $70. $17 for the retirement, that's $87. And then FICA and those types of Social Security, workman's comp, that's 7.25%. You are talking over a $90,000 cost to the district. It's not just, well, that's only $50,000 and you have so many teachers. There's all the other costs that go along with employment. And that's a great thing, because we need great teachers, and they're all over the county. We're full of the good staff, but that's also your administrators, your support staff, your custodians who clean in the evenings to make sure the kids are prepared. It's every employee. Mm-hmm. And school districts do not have an overabundance of employees. They make sure that they keep that number in check for what they need to make sure the kids get what they need, because nothing's going to be more important than the education of these kids and their safety. And so we have to continue to do that at a reasonable cost.
We're going to go to a break here real quick, but when we come back, I want to ask you a question. It's something that was brought up to me, and I might get this wrong, but it's the PA Rural Small School.
Yeah, there's an organization I'm a member of. It's the Pennsylvania Rural and Small Schools.
Okay.
And they actually sued, were one of the main complainants in a suit against the state to fund education adequately. Pennsylvania is one of the lowest funded effort education for their kids.
Perfect. If you don't mind, if our listeners stay with us, I want to jump into that. Hopefully there's some extra money in there for transportation, by the way. But this is DJ Frye in studio with Dr. POSTUPAC.
You're always working it, aren't you? That's how you do it. You're listening to Beaver County Radio, coming to you live from the Frye Transportation Studios. Beaver County Radio and Frye Transportation, a winning team. 99.3 FM and WBVP, providing news, sports, and information for 76 years.
Everyone at Plasmeyer Towing in Elwood City is proud to help sponsor Beaver County Radio's broadcast of the Trunk or Treat Car Cruise on October 19th on Dutch Ridge Road in Beaver. Plasmeyer Towing provides their customers with usable auto parts and pays top dollar for junk vehicles. They also offer low prices on towing services. Plasmeyer Towing services New Brighton, Elwood City, Beaver County, and Allegheny County. Happy Halloween from everyone at Plasmeyer Towing.
How can I help my child to make positive choices?
Start with a conversation. Start making the difference.
Beaver County Parents, is your child between the ages of 10 and 14? If so, Keystone Wellness Programs is offering the Strengthening Families program in your area. This free program is designed for families to have fun together while learning ways to promote family bonding and communications. For more information about upcoming sessions near you, visit KeystoneWellnessPrograms.org.
Paid for with PA taxpayer dollars.
The leaves are starting to fall, and so is the temperature. That's why it's the perfect time to call McGee Heating and Air Conditioning for that furnace check you know you need. It's comforting to know that McGee Heating and Air Conditioning has been serving customers for over 60 years. As an important part of Beaver County, McGee Heating and Air Conditioning is happy to support Beaver County Radio's Trunk or Treat Car Cruise on October 19th on Dutch Ridge Road in Beaver. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, family owned and operated, Main Street, Aliquippa.
It might be time to repair or replace that old garage door. Call on Robin and her team of expert installers at Electric Garage Door Sales in Monaca. Dial 724-774-3200 and your door will work like a charm. Featuring CHI quality garage doors, LiftMaster garage door openers, and over 50 years experience, Robin and her team will get it done right. Electric Garage Door Sales. Give them a call at 724-774-3200 or find them online at electricgaragedoorsales.com.
Looking for home services? Call Patriot Home Care in Beaver Falls. Their staff provides company, conversation, and companionship to all patients, ensuring medications are taken on time, participating in fun community activities, personal care, meal prep, and light household work are all services provided by Patriot Home Care, all thanks to the hardworking and selfless team members. Call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or stop in Patriot Home Care at 1225 7th Avenue, Beaver Falls.
J. Young Refuse and Industry is proud to be an integral part of Beaver County for the past 35 years. Featuring a wide range of recycling services for contracted areas, they are sure to help you get the job done. The J. Young Refuse team of professional drivers consistently exceed safety and service throughout the day, while their customer service representatives take professionalism to the next level. J. Young Refuse and Industry is happy to support the Trunk or Treat Car Cruise on October 19th.
The 77th season of high school football Friday Night Lights coverage continues this Friday with Robert Mangino and Mike Azadian. This week they travel to Montour as the Spartans will host the Aliquippa Quips in a pivotal Week 8 matchup. Tank Latham will have the eXp Realty sideline reports throughout the game. The audio and video coverage gets underway with a 6:30 p.m. pregame and kickoff set for just after 7. You can watch the game on Facebook Live or on our YouTube channel. You can listen to the games on WBVP 99.3 FM and BeaverCountyRadio.com. High school football coverage on Beaver County Radio is brought to you in part by Tri-County McDonald's, I'm loving it, Falcone's Moon Township Ford, Freedom United Federal Credit Union, the Community College of Beaver County, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Fisher's New Brighton Foodland, Al's Pizza in New Brighton, Tri-State Sporting Arms, Drug-Free Aliquippa, and Beaver County Radio.
Do you like sports? Then tune in every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale. Brian is loaded with statistics and interesting sports viewpoints. The show can also be seen on the WBVP-WNBA Facebook page. Plus, Brian will be taking your calls as well. That's One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale. Every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. on Beaver County Radio.
Tune in to Beaver County Radio after the Friday night football game for the 35th anniversary season of Falcone's Moon Township Ford Wrap-Up Show. Beaver County Radio's Bruce Frye and Ryan Garazunas will have the scores, standings, and any news from the games. They will also take your phone calls so you can talk about your favorite team. The Falcone's Moon Township Ford Wrap-Up Show is being brought to you by Carver Construction, the St. Barnabas Health System, Beaver County Career and Technology Center, Falcone's Moon Township Ford, the YMCA, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Patriot Home Care, Keystone Wellness Program, Frye Transportation Group, Freedom United Federal Credit Union, the Community College of Beaver County, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Fat Boy Cigars, Geneva College, and Beaver County Radio.
It's time to kick off the Flex Steel Fall Gallery Sale at AK Nahas. Get the comfort, quality, and style you want and save up to 20% off all Flex Steel furniture. Handcrafted for long-lasting beauty and comfort, choose from over 60 Flex Steel styles, the largest selection in Western Pennsylvania. Shop now and save up to 20% off Flex Steel. Get 12 months special financing and free local delivery. The Fall Gallery Sale, only at AK Nahas, appliance, furniture, mattress, and TV. You'll do okay with AK.
Looking for a great job opportunity? McDonald's now has full-time and part-time positions available to fit your lifestyle and needs. Set up your own hours and have a lot of fun too. Whatever your situation is, McDonald's has a place for you. Apply today at mchire.com. McDonald's is here for you. I'm loving it.
There's exciting news. A new pharmacy in New Brighton just opened, Forward RX. It's an independent community pharmacy that fills prescriptions at transparent cost-plus pricing on many generic medications. No insurance or discount coupons needed. Brandon Anthonopoulos will discuss your needs and how Forward RX can help you save money. The pharmacy experience you deserve is more affordable than you think. Become a Forward member today. Stop in 809 3rd Avenue, New Brighton, or check their prices at FWDRX.com.
Talk about what's happening in Beaver County or around the world on Teleforum. 724-843-1888. 724-774-1888. It's Teleform with Eddie Crow.
It's the last hour of the week, and once a month, it goes even quicker. DJ Frye comes in. The show is called Bus Talk, and DJ does everything. He shows up and does the interview, and it's great. Dr. Robert POSTUPAC is here, and we're talking about funding and education, and I cannot imagine trying to keep up because everything goes up except the money to pay for everything going up. And
absolutely,
that's what you guys have been talking about.
So, Eddie, real quick, I just want our listeners, before we wrap up, I want to give a reminder that tomorrow from 12 to 4, the Trunk or Treat car cruise here in our parking lot here at St. Barnabas Studios. And also, my wife wanted me to remind everybody that tomorrow from 1 to 6 is the annual Saints Peter and Paul School down in Beaver. It's their fall festival from 1 to 6. So bring the kids to both events and have a one. It's going to be great weather. Where we picked up with Dr. POSTUPAC, we were talking about the PA Rural Small School, and he was going to share with us on what is taking place behind the scenes with that.
A number of years ago, as the court systems take a long time, the Pennsylvania Rural and Small Schools organized and filed a lawsuit. Pennsylvania is one of the lowest funded states for effort for what they should be funding their students in education. It's not the total dollar figure, it's the percent, it's the effort. Every state that surrounds and is contiguous or touches us supports education at a higher rate. So they sued, and it took many years, 5 years at least, and they won in court. And so this year, as part of the state budget, they put in an adequacy formula, and they determined that every student should have approximately $13,000, about $700 or $800 per student in education cost. And so if schools weren't reaching that effort, the state began offering some funds over what they designed was a 5 to 7 year plan. So they gave out several $100 million more in state funding, and then it got divided up based upon the need of students. Unfortunately, some schools, receive $0 because they're funding at a rate higher than the other ones, and so they receive zero. Western Beaver received $48,000, where some schools received over $1 million. Wow. It all depended on how inadequately the students were funded in those schools. But there is an effort, and fortunately, this Pennsylvania Rural and Small Schools went forth and did that, and it did win, and they did begin to address some adequacy funding, because it says, somewhere in the formation of Pennsylvania that education should be funded at about a 50% level. Well, I'll guarantee you we're not getting 50% of our funding from the state for education. That's local tax dollars and other dollars making up that need.
Sure.
So, it really helped in some ways, and we hope that as the state budgets continue to unfold, that continues to get addressed, and, that education is the friend to the legislators, and they realize that they're really funding students. They're not funding teachers and administrators, and they're funding the bus drivers, they're funding the students and the parents who have to send their kids to school. Sure. That's important.
Well, Eddie, like I told you before, this is a gentleman that we could spend 2 hours with just because of his knowledge and the numbers, and we hope to have him back again because I think there's so much more that we could really dive into. So,
Doc, I didn't talk much about buses on Bus Talk today, Eddie. I don't know, but
he's playing it close to
I thought
his
they were going to
chest.
ask, how do you determine when you cancel a school day, and what's that 4 a.m. phone call, and all those things. But I sure we'll get into that next time.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Hey, Doc, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate all that you do for the Western Beaver County School District and everything else that you're involved with here in Beaver County.
Thank you. And again, there's great schools in Beaver County. Every one of these school districts is here for the best interest of kids, and we get along very well. Our superintendent groups, the principal groups, the curriculum groups, and certainly tonight they're going to go out and compete, and you're going to see bands, and you see cheerleaders and dance squads, and then good quality football games. And so good luck to all those teams tonight. It's a great night. It's going to be good weather.
Good luck. And again, good luck to all our teams, as Doc said, and thank you for tuning in this week, and we look to talk to you guys next month.
Thank you to Doc. Thank you to DJ. Bus Talk on Beaver County Radio.
The Pitt Panthers are looking to rebound from a dismal 2023. Follow the Panthers as Beaver County Radio will broadcast select games throughout the season. University of Pittsburgh football on Beaver County Radio is brought to you by Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, East Rochester and Tusca Shop and Saves, The True Value Hardware, inside East Rochester Shop and Save, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, Tri-State Sporting Arms, Geneva College, Beaver Falls Athletic Department, the Frye Transportation Group, and Beaver County Radio.
The worst thing that a person can do for their family is die without a will. Please take the time to consult attorney Michael W. Nally of Nally, Elias & Associates for legal counsel and draft a last will and testament. Also, take the time to meet with your financial advisor and insurance agent to make certain you have current beneficiary accounts, annuities, and life insurance policies. Your last will and testament cannot be overstated. Call Nally, Elias & Associates, 150 Pleasant Drive, Aliquippa, and protect your future today.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.